Welcome back to a Munchausen's Proxy. I can see by the response to my Wednesday spoiler review that either nobody likes Wednesday, the show, or I'm getting my butt kicked by Mama Susan's monstrosity because I didn't post for 10 days. Guess that's what happens when you get sick. Anyway, something dropped into my lap I wanted to talk about the other day, but I was working on the Wednesday video. The Golden Globes. Now, the Golden Globes, like every other awards show Hollywood has going on these days, absolutely sucks. It is a bastion of Hollywood stupidity, and for some reason they like to televise it annually. Anyway, their nominations for their awards show next year came out the other day. And my, oh my, were there some delicious oddities included in that mess. I think the one that jumped out to me the most was the nomination for Viola Davis for her performance in The Woman King for Best Actress in a Drama. For those of you who didn't see my video on The Woman King, I'll post both links to both the one I did on this channel and the one I did on my history channel. Needless to say, it's a little odd that Hollywood is going with this one. Don't get me wrong, Viola Davis is a great actress. But the choice of subject matter for The Woman King and the way they decided to go about showing the subject matter is what puzzles me. The Woman King is about a group of female warriors for a kingdom in Africa that helped European slavers. And Viola Davis plays the general of this group of women. And this is the same Hollywood that sees racism in literally everything. And for some reason, they're giving a Golden Globe nomination to someone playing a glorified version of a slave trader. Hollywood'll Hollywood. The other oddity that I saw in the non-controversial nominations was Avatar 2 got nominated, and it's not even out yet. Comes out Friday. I just found that odd because usually movies have to be out before they get nominated for crap. But, okay. And that's for Best Picture in a Drama. The one that I found strange was House of the Dragon only got 2 nominations. And it was a great show. Warner Brothers and HBO got a nomination for Best Drama for House of the Dragon. And Emma Darcy got a nomination for Best Actress in a Drama for playing Princess Rhaenyra. Now, I personally think that one of the 3 main male actors, Paddy Considine, who played King Viserys, Matt Smith, who played Prince Daemon, or Rhys Ifans, who played Otto Hightower, any one of those 3, or all of those 3, should have gotten nominated because all 3 put in stellar performances. They were pretty much the support pillars for that show, as the other actors and actresses had vagaries in their performances, ups and downs. They weren't steady pretty much all the way through, and those 3 gentlemen were pretty stellar. And then we get to the absolute hilarity of who got snubbed. You will notice Rings of Power did not get mentioned in anything I've said so far. And that is because they got nothing. No nominations for anything or anyone having to do with that show. Now, in days past, the Golden Globes were sort of a indication of who would also be getting Oscars for the movies and Emmys for the shows. Used to be, if you got the Golden Globe for Best Picture, you were a heavy favorite for Oscar for Best Picture. That's not so much anymore. But it is a pretty big indicator of who is or is not going to be awarded in the other two awards shows. Having said that, The Rings of Power might get Emmy nods simply because the Emmys have expanded categories and more nominees per category. And after spending $1 billion for the rights and then the first season combined, Amazon's not going to let The Rings of Power go unlauded. And Hollywood and the critics probably will go along with them in that. So don't be surprised if, come Emmy time next year, that The Rings of Power get a couple of nominations. If for no other reason than it is a bastion of woke Hollywood in all of its glory. There is no other show or movie that more demonstrates the phrase "get woke, go broke" truism that is plaguing Hollywood right now than The Rings of Power. So, I am probably going to go out on a limb and suggest that Morfydd Clark, despite how bad she was in this show, might get a nomination. And the show itself might get nominated. And for as stupid as Hollywood is, I would not be surprised if the writers on that show got nominated as well. If only to buck all of the criticism from the so-called istophobes who have been hating on that show since before it aired. And they would do that just to be able to say, look, see, they were wrong. It's a great show. Now, on top of that deliciousness, we had a bit of sad news break today. And that is out of Warner Brothers. Apparently, Henry Cavill, who recently dumped The Witcher because he got tired of playing a neutered and downplayed Geralt of Rivia on The Witcher on Netflix. After he decamped that from there, he basically said, yeah, I'm going to play Superman. Well, turns out, no, he's not. James Gunn, the new president of, or new CEO, or whatever the title is he's got now, of DC Studios. Well, he's apparently come in and he's taken a look at what DC has going on currently as far as what they could put in the works right now and how that would play out over the next 10 years, which is what his mandate is. Warner Brothers wants him to put together a Marvel-like DC cinematic universe with a 10-year plan of movies and shows. And apparently he's gone in there and he's taken a look and he's realized, well, Henry Cavill's 39 right now. That would mean at the end of the 10 years, he would be 49. Do we really want to see a 49-year-old Superman? I'm sure that was the calculus. Because if he's putting together a roadmap to move forward on that, the ideal thing to do is to just recast everybody. And yes, I mean everybody. If he is smart, he will dump every single person who is currently playing a DC character in film and in TV. Yes, I know people are not going to be happy with scrapping the Snyderverse, and to tell you the truth, I think that was the best path forward, as flawed as that was. But that was the best path forward maybe 7 years ago. You can't keep aging actors around playing the same character, especially characters that aren't supposed to age very much, more than about 7 years, 10 years at the most. There's a reason Marvel killed off Tony Stark in Endgame. There's a reason they decided to get rid of Captain America in Endgame. Well, multiple reasons, but the main creative reason that had nothing to do with Hollywood and Marvel in particular losing their minds is they've had the actors playing those characters for 10 years. You know, you can't expect geriatric actors to play superheroes. It just doesn't work. And if James Gunn is trying to put together a 10-year plan for a cinematic universe, he's going to have to start over. He's going to have to start over from scratch. And Henry Cavill had a meeting today with James Gunn and company, and he being Henry Cavill, put out a statement on Instagram where he goes through and explains what he had to say after that meeting. Quote, "I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October, prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. For those who have been by my side through the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember, Superman is still around. Everything he stands for still exists, and the example he sets for us are still there. My turn to wear the cape has passed, but what Superman stands for never will. It has been a fun ride with you all, onwards and upwards." Unquote. Now, having said that, more than a few thoughts popped into my head as soon as that was announced. My first one, and it came out of nowhere because, quite frankly, I checked out of the franchise about 3 films ago, is the people who are running the 007 franchise right now should be calling him up and signing a blank check to Henry Cavill to be James Bond for the next several years. If they had any brains whatsoever, that's what they would be doing. And after I thought about that for a while, the more I liked it. And I know I've seen him on lists of actors who would make really good James Bond replacements for Daniel Craig. And he's young enough where they could get a good 5 or so movies out of him before he gets too old to play James Bond credibly. I mean, dude is in just absolutely immaculate shape. And barring him getting tired of the role after 10 years or so, they should be wrapping that up right now in ironclad contracts. The other thought I had was Disney should also be writing a blank check to Henry Cavill and telling him he can pick whatever character he wants to play for the next 10 years. Now, I personally have no idea who I would put him as, especially since Marvel is so completely screwed right now with all of the activists that Kevin Feige has hired and all of the just absolutely freaking retarded ideas that are floating around Marvel right now. And they kind of gave up the perfect opportunity to introduce the mutants after Endgame. If they had any brains whatsoever, they would have said, okay, post-snap, a certain percentage of those who had been snapped out of existence are now mutants for reasons. You can't exactly introduce mutants into the MCU at this late stage in the game without explaining where the hell have they been. Where were they in New York when the world was ending? Where were they when Ultron was lifting a city into the air to destroy all life on Earth? Where were they when Hulk was going crazy in Johannesburg? Where were they when Thanos showed up? You know, these kind of things need to be explained. Just like, you know, you can't just dump the Eternals into the MCU and expect that to frickin' make sense. Especially after you have a big giant hand and head of a celestial come out of the frickin' ocean, and then nobody talks about it in the movies that come after that. How does that happen? That doesn't make any damn sense. Marvel and the MCU have gone off the rails, and as soon as I thought Disney should go out and sign Henry Cavill, I realized, why would Henry Cavill want to sign? I don't care how much money they gave me. I wouldn't want to be doing that mess. And there's not a single non-James Gunn movie on the horizon other than Deadpool, and even that I'm worried about, that looks like it's going to be any good. So I don't know where you would fit Henry Cavill in. I mean, you can make up a new franchise with him, with another character from the panoply of characters that Marvel has control of. But again, the question comes back to, why would he want to? No, I think the one that makes the most sense is you sign him up to play 007 for this foreseeable future, and you get started on a damn script right now. Because you can't go sign him up without telling him what kind of project he's signing himself up for. So, sad day for Superman fans of the DC Cinematic Universe. Henry Cavill is no longer Superman. And I guess we will now see what the hell James Gunn and Peter Safran have rattling around in their brains. I think that's going to be it for today. I didn't mean to go on for this long, but the Henry Cavill thing kind of dropped as I was thinking about doing the Golden Globe announcement reaction and ranting a little bit about, well, not ranting, but having a little smug fest over here about Rings of Power getting 0 nominations for the Golden Globes for their ceremony next year. I think that's going to be it. If you like what I do, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notifications so you get notified when new videos drop. Share the video and comment down below. After 10 days off from being sick, I could really use the help with Mama Susan's algorithm. And I'll see you in the next video. Tschüss.